Hello everyone, this is Sven Eric, screenwriter and director from Germany, and this is 3 reasons why Picard probably is a bad idea. So reason number 1. Star Trek The Next Generation already was Star Trek Picard. Captain Picard was the main character of Star Trek The Next Generation. He was the captain, he was the main character in the first and in the last episode, so it was his show and he imprinted his DNA on this show. What made The Next Generation so great was the way the crew interacted with each other, the way Picard gave his orders and the way the others acted on those orders. The social hierarchy on the ship, the way the command structure worked and the way the communication worked were the high points of the series. At least for me. I don't know about you, but I liked that. I liked the way people worked with each other. You have the Enterprise encountering a situation, a difficult problem, and Picard always goes to his ready room. First he takes a cup of Earl Grey, hot of course, and then he thinks about the problem. And every time like a crew member would come in and they would discuss the moral implications of that situation, and in the end they would come up with a solution to the problem. And I really like that. I think I learned more from this character, more from this series than from my teachers when I was in grade school. Compared to the new Picard, where it's totally different, where he has this ragtag team of outcasts surrounding him, it's very, very different. And it begs the question, why do we even need Picard? Why is this show about Picard? Why not about some other minor character in the Star Trek universe? So the idea was to make it a more personal story. But if you do that, why do you have to have Picard on a mission in outer space? Why not make it a series about Picard on his homestead? Picard on Chateau Picard. Why not that? The second point is Picard is not the best character to tell an ongoing story about. In writing terms, Picard only has a very flat character need. That means that he doesn't have a deep moral problem with the people surrounding him, and he doesn't even have a very deep psychological problem with himself. His only problem is that he is a very secluded man and that he doesn't want to engage in society. That's why he fears children in the beginning of TNG. That's why he doesn't really engage with women. He doesn't have a romantic relationship in the beginning in any capacity. And he likes to read a good book and be alone. So that's his problem. That's his need to overcome. And that's why his biggest nemesis is probably Q, who makes an appearance in the first episode and also in the last episode of The Next Generation. And he's this flamboyant, outgoing, extroverted character, whereas Picard is more the introverted, more the intellectual, more the quiet person. So they are polar opposites of each other. If you think about all the trauma that Picard has suffered throughout The Next Generation, you have him being assimilated by the Borg, he was tortured severely, he lived another lifetime on a different planet altogether. All these little moments in time that have a very deep impact on a character, then you realize that they did this because they didn't really know how else to write about this character. There are many other characters on The Next Generation that could have been used in a spin-off series. One example is actually Worf, who they took from The Next Generation and brought him into Deep Space Nine. And you see how he evolves from the time he's on TNG to DS9. And it's a beautiful transition in my opinion. And the third reason why Picard probably was a really bad idea is that the themes of the show don't really connect with the main character. We have this mystery quest going on about synthetic life on the show. And in that you see two things. You see this quest, which is an adventure plot in a way. And of course, Picard was an adventurer on The Next Generation. I mean, he has this archaeological background, right? But there's no excitement. There's no really sense of adventure on Picard. And then we have this synthetic life. And this is not what Picard ultimately was about on The Next Generation, because he was about the moral implications of synthetic life. But that's not what we get to see on the new show. Picard always was a diplomat. He was a politician in a way, and he dealt with moral issues on a grand scale. We don't get to see that on the show. Instead of seeing how Picard threatens Starfleet to quit, we see the scene afterwards when he tells it to Raffi. So we see the less interesting parts of his actual character on the show. In order to have this plot about synthetic life, you would need an engineer or even a doctor. But isn't it funny that the only two characters from TNG we haven't seen so far are Beverly Crusher and Geordi LaForge? I mean, those two could really shed a light on what's going on the show. How do you feel about the show? What do you think about it? Please let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel, like this video and tell all your friends about it. Have a nice day, have a nice writing day, and always remember you're not alone out there.